I was standing right there, just a few feet away, watching her laugh with some random guy at the bar. At first I thought it was harmless, small talk while waiting for drinks. But then I saw her slip her phone out of her bag with that flirty smile she always gives when she's trying to be cute. She typed something quickly and handed it to him. That's when my chest tightened like someone punched the air out of me. I asked her calmly, "Did you just give him your number?" She turned to me, rolled her eyes, and said, "I can't help it if other men find me irresistible. Maybe you should step your game up." For a moment I just stood there, staring at her like I didn't even know who she was anymore. We'd been together for 3 years. I paid for the apartment we lived in, her car insurance, her phone bill, pretty much everything she needed to live comfortably while she figured out her career. I never complained because I loved her, and I thought supporting her was the right thing to do. But hearing her say that, watching her disrespect me like I was nothing, something inside me snapped. I just nodded and said, "You're right." She laughed like it was some joke, thinking I'd beg her to stop flirting or promise to step my game up, like she wanted. But I didn't. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay there next to her, listening to her breathe, and I felt like I was lying next to a stranger. The woman I loved so much didn't even respect me enough to stay loyal in front of my eyes. By sunrise I had made up my mind. The next day, while she was out at her friend's place, I called the landlord, changed the locks, and removed her name from everything I paid for. I packed up her clothes, makeup, hair tools, every little thing that belonged to her, and left them neatly in boxes by the door. When she came back, she couldn't even open the front door. That day, she called me 23 times. I didn't pick up a single call. As I sat there in the quiet living room, looking at her contact name lighting up my phone again and again, I wondered, did she think I was weak? Did she think I'd keep tolerating her games forever? I guess she was about to find out who I really was. Because this was just the beginning. And what I did next, well, let's just say she never saw it coming. I sat there staring at my phone as it buzzed for the 24th time. Her name flashed on the screen again and again, but I just watched it until it stopped ringing. A part of me felt numb, like everything happening wasn't real. Another part of me felt relief, like a heavy weight was finally off my chest. I kept thinking back to when we first met. She was wearing this blue dress, hair tied in a messy bun, and she smiled at me like I was the only person in the world. Back then, she wasn't this person. Or maybe she was, and I was too blinded to see it. We met at a mutual friend's birthday dinner. She sat across from me, laughing at my jokes, asking questions about my work, and giving me these looks that made me feel seen. At that time, I had just gotten promoted, and I felt like everything was finally falling into place. She made me believe she was the missing piece. Within months, she moved into my apartment because her lease ended. I didn't even think twice. I wanted her close to me. I wanted to take care of her. She always told me how her exes treated her badly, how they cheated, and how she just wanted someone honest. I promised I'd never be like them. For the first year, everything was good. She would cook dinner sometimes, send me sweet texts during work, and wait up for me if I came home late. But slowly, things changed. She stopped asking about my day. She started going out with friends more, coming home late without calling. Whenever I tried to ask, she'd snap at me, saying I was controlling or insecure. I believed her. I thought maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was too clingy, too boring, too focused on work. But that day at the bar proved it wasn't me. It was her. I replayed her words in my mind. "I can't help it if other men find me irresistible. Maybe you should step your game up." It felt like poison in my veins. I realized she never respected me, only what I could do for her. She loved the comfort, not the man behind it. My hands shook as I remembered how she laughed after saying it. Like she was daring me to do something about it. Outside, I heard her banging on the door. She was shouting my name, telling me to open up and stop being dramatic. But I stayed silent. Because in that silence, I finally felt power. For the first time in years, I felt like I was standing up for myself. As her banging turned into sobs, I closed my eyes and thought, what was I going to do next? Because this wasn't the end. This was just the beginning of her realizing what she lost. Her sobs outside the door grew louder. She kept shouting, "Please, just open the door. Let me explain." But I didn't move. I just sat there on the couch, staring at the empty apartment. It felt so quiet without her perfume lingering in the air or her shoes scattered near the entrance. I always thought her presence made this place feel like home. But now, it just felt peaceful. I thought about how many times I had ignored the signs. Like last month when I found an unfamiliar men's bracelet in her car. She said it was her coworker's and he forgot it after she gave him a ride home. I believed her because I didn't want to think she'd betray me. Or 2 weeks ago, when she spent the entire night texting someone, smiling at her phone and turning the screen away when I walked by. When I asked, she snapped, "Stop being paranoid." I convinced myself I was overthinking, but deep down, I knew. I just didn't want to lose her. Suddenly, her voice outside broke with anger. "You're really gonna do this? After everything I've done for you?" That made me laugh bitterly. Everything she's done for me? Like spending my money, living under my roof, and treating me like an option? I remembered how she used to tell me about her ex-boyfriend, how he cheated on her with her best friend. She cried in my arms for hours when she told me that story. Now I wondered, was it even true? Or was it another way to gain sympathy and lock me into her life? As she kept shouting, I thought about her family. Her mom never liked me much. She once told her daughter, "You can do better than him." Back then, it crushed me. I tried so hard to prove her wrong, buying her daughter gifts, taking her on trips, paying off her old college loans. But nothing was ever enough. Her friends weren't any better. They always encouraged her to keep her options open, because apparently, men can't be trusted. I guess she listened to them more than I realized. While she was outside crying, I checked my phone. 28 missed calls now. 3 voicemails. All saying the same thing. "Please open the door. I love you." I didn't mean it like that. But I wasn't ready to hear her excuses. Because what could she possibly say? That giving her number to another guy was just a joke? That telling me to step my game up was her way of motivating me? I knew her too well. She was never sorry for what she did, only sorry she got caught. As her crying turned into silence outside, I felt my heart beating faster. Because deep down, I knew this wasn't over. She wasn't the type to walk away quietly. And something told me, this was just the calm before the real storm. The quiet outside didn't last long. Soon I heard her voice again, softer this time. "Babe, please. I'm sorry. I'll delete his number. I won't talk to anyone again, just open the door." I closed my eyes and leaned back against the couch, feeling my chest tighten. Part of me still wanted to believe her, still wanted to hold her and pretend none of this happened. But I knew better now. Her apologies were only words to buy her way back into comfort. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from her best friend, Kara. "What the hell is wrong with you? Why are you locking her out like this? She's crying her eyes out here. You're such a jerk." I stared at the screen, feeling my anger boil up. Kara. The same friend who used to tell her, "If he ever stops giving you what you want, just find someone else." The same friend who convinced her it was okay to go on girls' trips without telling me where they were staying. I felt my fists clench just thinking about it. Then came another message from her. "If you don't open the door, I'll call the cops and tell them you're keeping my stuff." That made me laugh. After everything I'd done for her, after everything I paid for, she was threatening me now. I stood up and looked at the packed boxes by the door. Her clothes, her shoes, her bags, all ready to go. I even put her makeup kit neatly on top so she wouldn't accuse me of breaking anything. I did everything calmly, without hate, because I wanted her gone with no drama. But now, I could feel my patience slipping. Outside, she started banging on the door again, harder this time. "I swear to God, open this door right now or I'm calling the police!" she screamed. I felt my heartbeat thundering in my ears. I didn't care if she called them. Everything here was mine, and she had no right to stay after what she did. But then, the banging suddenly stopped. For a moment, the silence felt heavy, almost suffocating. I moved closer to the door and looked through the peephole. She was standing there, her eyes red and swollen, staring at her phone with a blank expression. Then she looked straight at the door, almost like she could see me through it, and I saw her mouth form the words, "You'll regret this." A chill ran down my spine. I didn't know what she was planning, but I knew her well enough to understand that she wasn't the type to accept defeat. As she turned and walked away, clutching her phone tightly, my hands started trembling. Because whatever she was about to do next, I knew it wouldn't be good. And deep down, I felt that the real nightmare was just about to begin. I couldn't stop thinking about her last words. "You'll regret this." That sentence echoed in my mind the entire night. I barely slept, just lay there staring at the ceiling, wondering what she was planning. By morning, I got my answer. My phone buzzed with notifications, one after another. At first, I ignored them, thinking it was her again. But when I finally checked, my heart dropped. There were posts all over social media. Pictures of me and her together, old photos from our trips, selfies from dinners. But her captions were twisted lies. She wrote things like, "Imagine loving someone for years only for them to lock you out in the middle of the night and steal your stuff. I have nowhere to go. Please, someone help me." Underneath, dozens of comments were calling me trash, a monster, abusive. People were sharing her posts, tagging my work profile, my friends, and even my family. I felt my chest tighten so badly I couldn't breathe. My phone rang. It was my mom. The first thing she asked was, "What did you do to her?" I tried explaining, but my voice cracked. She didn't say much after that, just sighed and told me to fix it before it destroyed my life. I felt like the walls were closing in. Within hours, my boss called me into his office. He showed me the post on his laptop screen and said, "I don't know what's happening in your personal life, but keep it out of this company. HR will be in touch." That was it. No chance to explain. No one cared about my side. Meanwhile, she hadn't called or texted me again. Her silence scared me more than her threats. I knew her well enough to understand she wasn't done yet. Later that evening, I received an email notification. It was from the bank. When I opened it, I felt like the floor disappeared under my feet. Someone had tried to access my online banking using my saved login on her old iPad, which I forgot to deactivate. They tried multiple times before the account locked for security. My chest burned with anger. She knew all my passwords. She knew everything about me. And now she was using it all against me. I sat on the couch, gripping my phone so tight my knuckles turned white. Outside, the sun was setting, and the apartment felt dark and cold. My thoughts were racing. If she could do this in just one day, what else was she planning? My phone buzzed again with another notification, and my stomach twisted in dread as I read it. It was a message from an unknown number. "If you think you can ruin me, think again. I'm just getting started." My heart pounded louder than ever. Because now, I realized, this wasn't just a breakup. This was war. And she was about to show me just how far she could go. I sat there holding my phone, staring at that message from the unknown number. "If you think you can ruin me, think again. I'm just getting started." My hands were shaking. I felt like my entire world was slipping out of my control. For a moment, I thought about calling her, just to end all of this. But then I stopped myself. No, she wanted me scared. She wanted me crawling back, begging her to stop. I wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. Instead, I took a deep breath and called my friend Ryan. He's a lawyer and has known me since college. When I told him everything, he sighed heavily. "You need to protect yourself, man. Save all her posts, screenshots, messages, everything. If she's lying publicly, it's defamation. And if she's trying to hack your bank, that's a federal crime. For the first time in days, I felt a tiny spark of hope. Maybe I wasn't as helpless as I thought. While Ryan started preparing everything legally, I gathered all her boxes and dropped them off at her mom's house. Her mom opened the door with a disgusted look. Before she could say anything, I said calmly, "Tell your daughter to stop before this gets worse for her." She scoffed and slammed the door, but I could see the doubt in her eyes. That night, I finally answered one of her calls. She started crying immediately. "Please, can we talk? Why are you doing this to me?" Her voice sounded so small, so broken, but I didn't let myself fall for it this time. I asked her directly, "Why are you trying to hack my bank account? Why are you lying about me online?" There was silence for a moment, and then she snapped. "Because you ruined my life. I have nowhere to go now. Everyone thinks I'm worthless." I felt my chest tighten, but I stayed quiet. She kept talking, saying how she would delete everything if I took her back, how she couldn't survive without me. That's when I realized the truth. She wasn't sorry. She just didn't want to lose her safety net. I ended the call without another word. 2 days later, Ryan called me with an update. She deleted all her posts. "We sent her a legal notice this morning. If she tries anything again, she'll face real charges." I felt like I could finally breathe again. That evening, as I sat in my quiet apartment, my phone buzzed with one last message from her. "Congratulations. You win. But remember, I always find a way back." I stared at her words, feeling a chill run through me. I knew this was the end of her games for now. But deep down, a part of me wondered, was it really over? Or was this just her waiting for the next chance to come back into my life and destroy it all over again? I sat there staring at her final message, feeling a strange emptiness in my chest. "Congratulations. You win. But remember, I always find a way back." For a moment, old memories of her laughing beside me on road trips, cooking breakfast in my kitchen, and holding my hand while we watched movies came rushing back. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Those memories were real, but so were the lies, the disrespect, and the way she treated me like I was disposable. The next morning, I woke up feeling lighter than I had in months. I cleaned the apartment thoroughly, removing the last traces of her perfume, her hair ties hidden in couch cushions, and the notes she used to leave on the fridge saying, "Buy almond milk," with little hearts. As I threw them away, I realized how much I had lost myself in trying to keep her happy. I spent years thinking her love was something I had to earn by paying her bills, taking her out, and proving I was enough. But in the end, none of it mattered to her. My mom called later that evening. She sounded worried but relieved when I told her everything was settled. "I just want you to be okay, Beta. She never deserved you," she said softly. After I hung up, I sat on the balcony watching the sunset. The city lights flickered to life, and for the first time, I felt at peace with my own company. I blocked her number and deactivated my old social media accounts where she had tagged me. I didn't want her or her friends finding ways back into my life. I focused on work again, and even started going to the gym regularly. Ryan kept checking up on me, making sure she didn't try anything legally. Thankfully, she stayed quiet after the notice. Weeks passed, and I began sleeping properly again. One evening, while driving back home, I saw a couple holding hands at the sidewalk. Instead of feeling bitter, I felt hopeful. Love isn't meant to feel like fear or constant doubt. It's supposed to feel safe. And when I find it again, I'll recognize the difference. Looking back, I realized she was right about one thing: I did need to step my game up. But not for her, or any other woman. For myself. Because at the end of the day, respect and peace of mind are worth more than any relationship. And that's a lesson I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.